things that like you aren't so sure about in the beginning can end up being like a blast. Because like I've had a blast doing this podcast.
We need young people to be able to do that. A lot of them are spending a lot of time consuming, but not necessarily creating in a thoughtful way.
Hello and welcome. My name is Rachel, and you're listening to episode 186 of Candid Catholic Convos, a show about Catholicism that enriches your faith, answers your questions, and meets you wherever you're at on your faith journey. We have a very special treat for you today. We're introducing you to a brand new podcaster in our diocese who's using his platform to spread his love of history and interesting things he learns about the Catholic faith. But first, let's start with scripture. Today's reading is from Exodus chapter 35, verses 31 and 32. And he has filled him with the Spirit of God, with ability, with intelligence, with knowledge, and with all craftsmanship, to devise artistic designs, to work in gold and silver and bronze. In this passage, we meet Bezalel, the artisan chosen by God to design the tabernacle, the sacred space where God's presence will dwell among his people. Now, what's striking here is that the first person in Scripture described as being filled with the Spirit of God is not a prophet or a priest. It's an artist. Bezalel is filled with ability, intelligence, knowledge, and craftsmanship. So in other words, his creativity isn't random. It's anointed. And his artistic skill is not just a personal talent. It's a divine calling. This is a powerful truth for Catholic creators today. Whether you're a visual artist, a podcaster, a writer, a filmmaker, or a musician, your creative gifts are not accidental or peripheral to your faith. They are essential, and they can be sanctified. God doesn't just use preachers to build his kingdom. He uses creators, people like Bezalel, and like you and me, to make visible the invisible beauty of God. The designs you create, the content you produce, the words you speak or write, they can become modern-day tabernacles where others encounter truth, beauty, and the presence of God. So the next time you sit down to create, whether you're editing a video or sketching an idea on a napkin, remember, your creativity is not just a hobby. It's a vocation. And just like Bezalel, when you allow the Holy Spirit to guide your craft, your work can become something sacred. Speaking of art and artists, today's Saint Spotlight shines on the patron saint of artists, painters, and those who create for the glory of God, St. Catherine of Bologna. St. Catherine was a poor Clare nun, mystic, and skilled artist. Before entering religious life, she was trained in the arts at the court of Ferrara, a very unusual path for a woman in the 1400s. After choosing a cloistered life, Catherine brought her artistic talents into her vocation, using illuminated manuscripts and religious paintings to deepen devotion and inspire her sisters. What makes her especially inspiring for Catholic creators today is her belief that art wasn't separate from faith. It flowed from it. She wrote, painted, and composed not for fame, but to express the divine beauty she encountered in prayer. She reminds us that creating something beautiful can be an act of worship. Catherine's incorrupt body still rests in Bologna, and she continues to inspire Catholic creatives today to let their work be a reflection of heaven's glory. Now that we know our art and our faith actually work in concert with one another, let's move on to our marquee topic, Catholic creators on the rise. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to James from St. Joseph Catholic School in Danville and his teacher, Kurt Eck, together known as the duo behind the podcast, Fun Fact Times with James D. What started as a little experiment has grown into 2 full seasons of episodes, with guests ranging from students and teachers to priests and even Bishop Senior. James, Mr. Eck, welcome to Candid Catholic Convos. I'm excited to have you guys here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. And I sometimes call you guys CCC.
I do too. When I send out my files to the stations, that's what I call it, CCC. It's very rare that I've had other podcasters on the show. I think I've only had one other set of podcasters on the show, so this is exciting.
It is, and it's a little...
This is kind of our first time actually getting interviewed.
Right, on the other side of the table.
I was going to say other side of the microphone, but that doesn't work. Yeah.
So for anybody who hasn't listened to your podcast, can you guys tell me a little bit about yourselves?
Well, so I'm James Denbeck. I'm in 4th grade at St. Joseph's School, Danville, PA. And this kind of comes as a surprise. I am a Giants fan. I am anti-Eagles.
We can't be friends anymore, dude.
Oh, no. Wait, we saw the Pittsburgh stuff out in the,
That's
in the
not
lobby.
me.
That's
That
not
is,
you?
Nope,
Oh, no.
Nope. I'm a Philly girl all the way.
Yeah, and I'm Mr. Eck. I'm a science teacher at St. Joseph's Catholic School in Danville, Pennsylvania. And
he's obviously Steelers.
I'm a Steelers fan, and I'm James' kind of sidekick on his podcast when he remembers I'm in the room.
I wouldn't say sidekick. I feel like you help probably more than me because you do all the editing, and I am not good at following deep conversation. So I have not really had any progress in learning how to edit from you.
Well, we started.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have an attention span of a 4th grader, so we'll get there over the rest of the school year.
Yeah. Yeah, my oldest son he's in 4th grade. He's going to turn 10 in January.
I'm turning 10 in March.
Oh, that's exciting. I was like, hey, I get to interview this kid who has his own podcast. And my son was like, what? You won't even let me have a YouTube channel. I was like, no, I won't. But we could talk about a podcast. That I can do.
Yeah, podcast is a little safer.
A little bit.
I've really enjoyed this podcast so far.
Yeah. So what started it? How did you come up with this idea that you wanted to do a podcast?
Is a good question. So it started in like the beginning of my 3rd grade year. And so I came up to his room. He had some bunch of like recording microphones and stuff out on the table because he said he wanted to try to start a podcast with the 8th graders. And so I asked him if we could make like a fake recording thing. And we sat down and did something, and like we just had like it came up as like a full-blown conversation, and like we were talking about like starting a history podcast or something. And then like, he said like, oh, maybe we could like interview 3rd graders about their states.
Yeah.
Then it just like took off.
Yeah, actually the 8th graders came to me and wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah.
So we scavenged some microphones out of the attic and some of those really ancient gray hearing test headsets. And I bought a small podcast mixing unit. And so we're ready. And then they never got around to doing it. And they never got around to doing it. And then James comes in, right? Like you said, he saw it. But he was like, hey, let's do a podcast. And I'm trying to grade papers. And I was like, maybe later. So I got back to my desk and I'm grading papers. Like 5 minutes, I look up and he's already got it all. He's got the microphones up. He's got the headphones on. And he's just giving me this patented James glare. Like, when are we going to do this? So our very first episode is actually that. I plugged it in. We hit record and it really worked. So like the 8th graders did end up doing a podcast, right? Kind of. Yeah, that was. I even wrote their names down so they get a little bit of credit, right? That was Luke, Declan, AJ, Bryce, George, and James, and we tried to do a podcast.
Weren't they like talking about like the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight?
It kind of went off the rails quick,
man.
yeah, and they kind of they called it being canceled. A principal might be a little. Well, no, we won't blame Mrs. Winters. We'll blame them. Yeah, they were off the rails. So we ended up kind of letting that one slowly
fizzle.
Fizzle. Yeah. But the fun fact time kept going.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So talk to me a little bit about how you choose your guests and your topics. Like what goes into that? In
the first year, we were all based on interviewing 3rd graders and their state projects about like their states. So we had like that was like basically every episode. We had like 3 episodes that weren't that. We had like the bishop, and then we had Father Marco, our old pastor, and then my sister and this other kid named Oliver in our school. And those were basically the only 3 episodes that we did that were different. And then this year, you see one of these like forms. People fill them out and put them in a basket. And then every week after the episode, we pull a name, and that's who's next up. But we also sometimes just pick who's going on. Because, like, we interviewed Father Roth. I heard that one, yeah. The new pastor. And we did Mrs. Winters. We did, and now we're on this.
Very cool.
And so we've mainly just been interviewing students, not for like state projects, but for just like conversation.
But Mrs. Winterstein's third grade is going to be coming back up to their state projects.
Yes, and then we're going to be going into state projects.
So instead of the third grader interviewing the third graders, it'll be the fourth grader interviewing the third grader.
Oh, boy.
But it's still the same idea.
Yeah. No, I like that because it gives the kids a chance to like get comfortable talking about what they want to talk about. Because I'm used to it now, but I know people get intimidated when they step in front of one of these microphones. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to say the wrong thing, or I'm going to sound dumb. And it's like, no, you really don't. I promise you don't.
That's what post-production is.
That is what post-production is for.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's when I go through and take out
the ums and the buts.
And the side conversations that have just kind of go crazy.
Why do you think, Mr. Eck in particular, why do you think it's important for this kind of creative platform for the kids to have? I know this is primarily James's route, but you mentioned that it's kind of available for everybody, like, so at some point.
This is one of the questions that we had trouble getting an answer on.
Maybe you did. Yeah, there's a lot of good reasons to do this. One was James wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. So when there's a student who's excited about something, you go for it. And then and also it doesn't always work out. I'm the science teacher. I don't know if I mentioned that, but one of the hard things I have trying to explain to some of my coworkers is that it's okay to fail. Mm-hmm. Right? That's all part of engineering and science. So I'm willing to try something, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, we'll go back to the drawing board. Well, this is working. It also gives the students a chance to practice those skills, to get out and present their voice. And we need young people to be able to do that. A lot of them are spending a lot of time consuming, but not necessarily creating in a thoughtful way. So that's another advantage. And then it gives all of us teachers something to put on the speaker for 10 minutes when we need a break. Let's listen to Fun Fact Time. So, plus we learn. Whether it's a fun fact about a state, I've learned a lot. You know, I'm new to the Catholic Church, and there's a lot to learn about the Catholic Church, even if you grew up in a Christian church. So, in conversations with Father Roth, Father Marco, and especially the bishop, gave me a lot of information, and so people listening to the podcast are also going to get exposure to that.
Well, let's dive into a little bit more about the being Catholic aspect, because I know this isn't necessarily a Catholic podcast like Candid Catholic Convos is, but your faith obviously plays a role in your everyday life. So how do you find that being woven into the podcast and its production? Because I noticed you start with a prayer every episode.
Well, we were like a lot of Catholics. We strive to be really perfect in our prayer life, but sometimes we forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you said, we say a prayer before every episode. And mainly we've interviewed priests, we've interviewed the bishop.
What kind of fun facts have you learned on those episodes? Like, what really stuck out to you is like, oh, I didn't know that before.
Ooh, this one? I don't know.
I know. The bishop explained to us that the Easter Mass is like it's a really long mass. It starts.
Oh yeah, no, that was Father Marco. That is actually a really.
Well, no, Father Marco didn't know that. Remember, we came back from meeting with the bishop, and we asked him that during the podcast. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I never thought of it like that." But the Easter Mass starts on Thursday, and doesn't really end until dark 30 on Saturday. Right? It's like a long mass. So that was an interesting kind of fun fact that I picked up from that interview.
Yeah. Alberto Rodriguez. He had a lot of cool facts. Like more than I could come up with.
We learned about relics and the different way, like the red threads and the seal and how something is like a type 1 relic or like type 2.
Yeah, first or second class relic. Yeah.
Which was right up James's alley because he's all about history.
That's cool.
So he had history flashcards out on the trip down and was asking me questions. I was like, I don't know.
I love that. Yeah, my oldest son, again, he loves St. Carlo Acutis. So every year for All Saints Day, when they would have like a dress up at school, he would dress up as Carlo because he got to wear jeans and a t-shirt. But then he loved that he could carry around a PlayStation controller because technically Carlo's PlayStation is a second-class relic. Crazy,
right?
Right? There's a fun fact for you.
That's actually very cool.
I'm going to have to go ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for your podcast? Like for me, I have to script everything. Like it might sound very casual when I'm doing the recording, but I have scripts like all laid out. Do you guys go off of a script or do you just
bold out, just go with it?
Nice.
Except when
states, they have their like
they have something prepared. Yeah.
They have like their projects. Because like the state projects, they're in like pamphlets. And there's like each section is like fill out the form and like the facts and like stuff like that.
So they come in kind of scripted.
Got it.
So my favorite state, I obviously did a state project too because I was in 5th grade. My favorite state is New York. Because that's like basically one of the most historical states in the country. And I'm a Giants fan. I also like the Bills. A lot of my family is from New York. And I like Syracuse.
That's where my brother's going to grad school right now. He's going to Syracuse.
That's cool. Yeah. That's where I want to go to college.
That's a good school.
What you do, we sent a letter to the bishop. We corresponded with Father Marco with a Word document.
We usually only like script up for like big episodes, like big travels like this.
And then we have a whiteboard table.
Yeah. So we like write down stuff that we might want to talk about and stuff like that.
Make sure you mention the snow dance, or make sure you mention that there's a dress down day. You put that down there and then kind of line it out as you make sure you hit it. Other than that, we know there's an intro and an extro, and that's it. Or an outro, I guess. And the middle's
just pulled out, go for it.
Yeah, like with the paper, we asked the students this year to come in with 3 topics they're excited to talk about, and then what they're reading, and then James wants to know what they're watching on TV or what good movies.
Right now, I'm into Percy Jackson.
Ooh.
Well, actually, right now I'm into Heroes of Olympus because I finished the Percy Jackson series, and that's like the next series.
Very cool. So you mentioned that you're a science teacher, Mr. Eck. Does this count as like extra credit for James, or is this like entirely separate, like something we do on the side? How does that work?
I'd like extra credit in school.
No.
Not at all. It's just something fun that we do.
Yeah, and
I don't get paid at all. I don't have
Yeah, there's no grade.
Yeah.
But it's still part of STREAM, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely falls underneath like the science and engineering
stuff. I wish I got
paid. Yeah. Well, we sort of got paid.
I mean, yeah.
Between Tiger TV.
Well, you got paid.
Well, we got paid, sort of.
You got paid.
Oliver, he mentioned Oliver Redinger earlier. Oliver was one of the anchors for Tiger TV last year, and we got attached to the Remake Learning Days movement in Pennsylvania, and they paid us to be ambassadors to go out and do a pre-event segment, even if it was just a Facebook post, and then go out to the event and record it. And we took Fun Fact Time and James's entire family to the Montgomery Library.
Montgomery County Library.
Oh,
for
cool.
Harry Potter Day. Turned James into a rabbit. And that was YouTube. That was more Tiger TV.
I had a lot of fleas after that.
Yeah,
thanks to my dad.
So we did that, and then a trip to the fossil pit at the Montour Preserve.
Wait, we went to the fossil pit?
That was Oliver.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how we bought new microphones, new headsets. We took the money from that.
Yeah, so you got paid.
You got new microphones,
well,
new headsets.
Yeah.
Plus, we get out of school.
Right? That's a payday in and of itself.
Yeah.
But we didn't get out. James didn't get out of school today because today was a day off.
You got out of school for the bishop.
I got out of a teacher in service. Now, I won't say if that was a good or a bad thing.
2 birds, 1 stone.
That's
it works.
It worked.
Yeah. Now, how do projects like this, because this is not for a grade. So that to me, I think is really cool that it's gone on for 2 seasons now and it's not for a grade. I feel like most kids your age would probably have been like, meh, and given up. I know my son probably would have been like, meh, I'm over this. I don't need to do it anymore. But the fact that you're continuing to keep going with this is awesome. And at St. Joe's in Danville, like, I know this isn't, again, not a Catholic podcast, but it is done through a Catholic school. How do you feel that this reflects the community at St. Joe's in Danville? How do you feel like it emphasizes creativity? We talked about confidence.
Yeah, well, like, it kind of helps build a community. Like, a good amount of people listen to it. Like, I think, like, the teachers like playing it for their classes.
It definitely builds. It starts small, and now we're excited because we're getting listeners outside of the tight school community now. We had a phone call in from a music teacher in Lancaster.
Oh, wow.
Did a call in.
Oh, he's a music teacher?
Yeah, music teacher.
Oh, I thought he was like a actual like subject teacher, like science or like history.
Oh, Mrs. Hauk, don't listen to that part.
No, like I meant like I thought he was like taught like
science, something important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? No, I thought what? What?
But it was neat. And then James gets excited. Mr. Gilger shares some of our data with us, and we had, I don't think they count, but we've had some listeners in Russia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, any listen's a listen.
that's it. But the community thing is really good, and it gives us a chance to share events that are coming up. What did we just do here like 2 weeks ago? Student council.
Yeah.
We did. We had all the student council candidates, right? Candidates, and we tried to give them like 90 seconds. Some went a little long, but we rapid fired through, I don't know, 17 people.
Whoa.
I don't know. It was fun.
Yeah.
It went a little long, more than one period. But we got everybody a chance to say their piece, and then the rest of the school got to listen to their responses to James and our questions, and get a sense of the candidates. My favorite question being, if you had one superpower, what would it be? And then the follow-up was, how would you use that superpower to be a better student council member?
Oh.
Yeah, that's good answers.
Yeah. Well, this is for both of you, what have you learned in the course of doing this podcast, whether it be about podcasting or about yourselves? What have you learned as you've done this over 2 seasons?
A lot of people like sports.
Sports seems to be a popular topic.
Yeah.
Practical skills. It's hard to not
Yeah.
use certain words over and over again when you're doing a podcast. People make weird noises, like in between words. And you got to learn to get those edited out quicker. You can spend hours. So there's some of the mechanics of putting a podcast together, some of the things I've learned.
I've learned that like things that like you aren't so sure about in the beginning can end up being like a blast. Because like I've had a blast doing this podcast. When it started out as just I wanted to do a fake podcast in the science room of my school. And now we've interviewed like the bishop. We're right here now. And yeah.
And now you're getting interviewed.
Yeah. That's really insightful. I love that.
I've also learned a lot about the students, especially when we do like these kind of questions. The states was interesting. I was learning about states. But asking the students to let us know what they want to talk about has given me some insight into the brains of like 4th and 5th and 3rd graders.
So I saved my favorite question for last, which is, if you could have any guest on your show.
This was my favorite question that you asked.
Who would it be?
Okay.
Anyone. Living, dead, famous, not famous. Who would it be?
Jack?
Oh, we get to do dead.
Yeah, you could do dead too.
Oh, that all right. That changes up the whole question.
Ben Roethlisberger. Really, Mr. Eric? I know you're
Well, he's still alive, so yeah, but he's not on my list. No.
I'd say Jackson Dart or Eli Manning because they're both Giants quarterbacks. Definitely Eli Manning. That would be very cool.
That would be very cool.
How about somebody from a Catholic background?
Ooh, the Pope.
Ooh, he'd be a good one. And he's a sports fan too, I believe.
He's a
He's
baseball
from
fan.
Yeah.
And
He must be really happy with the Cubs right now.
well, maybe the Cubs are really happy with him.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
Maybe
true.
he's their good luck charm.
Yeah.
Wait, he's from Chicago, right?
Yes. If we could go with it, since you had it in, they could be passed. I think it would be amazing to have Carlo Acutis.
Right? That was
Hanging
mine.
out.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And again, I teach middle school, so I have to be sort of in touch with that group, and he's a really cool saint. If it was somebody alive and like reasonable, maybe we can get a handle on this one here and get a little help. Is Bishop Gaynor?
Oh,
Right, we've interviewed Bishop Senior.
I was thinking Father Mike Smith.
That would be cool too. Yeah, But Bishop Gaynor seems like that would be reasonable, and he was my first bishop. I know this sounds weird, but I remember coming down to the men's conference, and I was still, my sponsor brought me down. I hadn't even confirmed into the church yet, and listened to him do his talk, and we had mass, and then Dr. Gregory drugged me over to the bishop and introduced me, hey, this is the new science teacher, and we got him in a RCIA, which is now OCIA. It's like that Prince guy. And and we had a conversation. Okay, that's cool. And then I came down, the next school year, we came down for the education conference and going through the line, and he remembered me, right? And I've heard that that's not untypical of Bishop Gaynor. Like, he was really good with remembering people. So I just, I've listened to him talk. Last year I got to sit in when he addressed our confirmation students. He has a lot of really good things to say, so I think he would be an amazing interview.
Yeah, he would. And if you love history, he knows so much really rich history, especially about the Catholic Church. Like, if you have a question about anything historically Catholic, he's the guy to go to.
The guy. But I wouldn't pass on another interview with Bishop Senior either.
Yeah.
I'd love another interview with him.
Yeah.
I'd really want Eli Manning on the podcast, though.
Rachel's going to work on that for you.
Yeah, I got connections.
She's got some connection.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for coming down and joining me for this episode. I'm really excited to listen to more fun facts. And yeah, I hope that this continues and you guys have a great time with it. This sounds like it's going to be a lot
And thanks
of
for
fun.
having us down. It's been an experience to sit on the other side of the table. And we thank you for having us down. Got to thank Mrs. Winters for helping keep our podcast rolling and giving us the space to be able to do things even during the school day.
Thanks for giving us this time, and it's been a blast, and I'd like to be interviewed again by someone. It's a good experience getting interviewed instead of interviewing.
Yeah. We could definitely make that happen.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And that's our show. Candid Catholic Convos is brought to you by the Diocese of Harrisburg, hosted and sound engineered by me, Rachel Trochet, and produced by Rachel Bryson. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it on social media. You can tag us using @HBGDiocese. Make sure you also subscribe on your preferred listening platform so that you never miss an episode. And if you'd like to support our production efforts, a donation to our diocesan annual campaign would benefit us greatly in continuing our ministry. Next week, as is tradition with this podcast, we'll be diving into the history of Halloween, its Catholic origins, and its intersection with popular culture. So subscribe, keep praying for us, and we'll keep praying for you.